Back home and ready to flex. Leo wrestled his overstuffed duffel bag through the narrow doorway of his childhood bedroom. The air hung thick with the scent of old carpet and forgotten dreams. He winced. Mom hadn't exaggerated, it did still smell like his reptile phase. A faded poster of Godzilla stared down from the wall, a silent judge of his post-collegiate physique. He dumped the bag unceremoniously on the floor, narrowly missing a pile of dusty comic books. Time for an upgrade. The next morning, buzzing with nervous energy, Leo practically bounced through the doors of Muscle Mania, the gym where he'd landed his first job. The familiar clang of weights and rhythmic thumping of treadmills filled him with a sense of belonging. He spotted Brenda, the gym manager, a woman whose biceps could probably bench press his entire apartment. Brenda. Leo Maxwell, reporting for duty, he announced, a little too loudly. A few heads turned. Brenda, unfazed, simply pointed a thick finger towards a cluster of people near the juice bar. That's the team. Don't scare em too much, kid. He strode towards them, a grin plastered on his face. Hey everyone. I'm Leo. Super stoked to be here. I've got, like, a million innovative training techniques I can't wait to share. He punctuated his introduction with an enthusiastic clap, which unfortunately sent a protein shaker tumbling to the floor, splattering a milky concoction across the pristine tiles. A tall, muscular guy with a shaved head raised an eyebrow. A woman with fiery red hair stifled a laugh. Brenda sighed, but Leo, oblivious, just beamed. Right, well, let's get started, he said, grabbing a mop from a nearby closet. Later that day, Brenda summoned him to her office. All right, Maxwell. You've got enthusiasm, I'll give you that. But tone it down a notch, okay? People here prefer results to rah-rah speeches. She shuffled some papers on her desk. Your first client assignment is, the HOA moms. Leo blinked. The HOA moms? Brenda nodded, a hint of amusement in her eyes. Yep. They want a group fitness class. Low impact, apparently. Don't scare them off with any of your innovative techniques. Just keep them moving and try not to break anything. You start Monday. Leo gulped. Godzilla suddenly seemed a lot less intimidating. This was going to be interesting. Meet the super moms. The aroma hit Leo first, a tidal wave of cinnamon, vanilla, and something vaguely nutty. He'd envisioned protein shakes and pre-workout powder, not a potluck. The community center table groaned under the weight of casseroles, cookies the size of his head, and enough miniature quiches to feed a small army. This was the Super Moms Club, apparently. Patricia Davis, a woman with hair sculpted into a helmet of perfect blonde waves, extended a hand. Leo, so glad you could make it. I'm Patricia, president of the Super Moms. We always start with sustenance. She gestured to the overflowing table. Fuel for the workout, you know. Leo chuckled nervously, grabbing a napkin. Right, fuel. I, brought some resistance bands. Thought we could start with those. He pulled a brightly colored stack from his gym bag, suddenly feeling self-conscious. Were resistance bands too intense? He'd pictured hardcore athletes, women who scaled mountains and ran marathons in their spare time. These women looked like they baked mountains and marathon-watched Netflix. Brenda Miller, a whirlwind of mismatched floral prints and apologetic smiles, nearly tripped over a folding chair. Oh dear, so sorry. I'm Brenda. I made my famous 7-layer dip. Low fat, of course. She winked, then promptly sneezed into a lace doily. After a polite nibble of approximately 7 different desserts, Leo clapped his hands together, trying to project an air of confidence he didn't quite feel. All right, ladies. Let's warm up. Jumping jacks. A collective groan rippled through the room. Patricia sighed dramatically. Brenda, however, gamely attempted a jumping jack, managing about half a jump before her knee audibly popped. Oops. Maybe I'll just watch, she squeaked, clutching her knee and sinking into a chair. Leo swallowed hard. This was going to be a long 6 weeks. Zumba disaster. Leo bounced on the balls of his feet, microphone headset amplifying his already booming voice. Alright, super moms. Let's burn some calories and unleash our inner Latin goddesses. He'd spent hours choreographing this routine, a whirlwind of salsa, merengue, and even a little hip-hop he'd thrown in for good measure. He flashed a dazzling smile, completely unaware of the collective dread settling over the group. The music exploded, a frantic mix of percussion and synthesized horns. Leo launched into a rapid-fire sequence, grapevine, pivot turn, salsa shimmy, followed by something he'd optimistically labeled the anaconda wiggle. The super mom stared, bewildered. Brenda Miller, bless her heart, was giving it her all, her face flushed crimson as she attempted the anaconda wiggle, a move involving a rapid hip thrust and shoulder shake that looked less serpentine and more like a seizure. Come on, ladies. Feel the rhythm. Leo shouted, oblivious. He transitioned into a series of high kicks, forgetting entirely that most of his audience were more accustomed to sensible walking shoes than athletic prowess. Patricia, ever the dutiful president, tried valiantly to keep up, her face a mask of strained determination. Then it happened. During a particularly enthusiastic leap, Patricia's ankle twisted with a sickening crack. She crumpled to the floor, a strangled cry escaping her lips. The music screeched to a halt. Leo rushed over, his face etched with concern. Patricia. Are you okay? Patricia groaned, clutching her ankle. I think I've sprained it. A chorus of sympathetic murmurs rippled through the group. Brenda, still panting from her near-seizure experience, offered, I brought a low-fat 7-layer dip. Maybe that will help. Leo winced. This was not going as planned. Not at all. He glanced at the super moms, their faces a mixture of pain, exhaustion, and simmering resentment. The atmosphere, which had started with tentative optimism, had plummeted into a deep, dark Zumba-induced abyss. He swallowed hard. This was going to take more than enthusiasm to fix. Soup and old movies. The ceramic pot felt heavier with each step closer to Patricia's door. Chicken noodle, his grandma's recipe. A pathetic offering for almost breaking a woman's ankle, but it was all he had. He adjusted his grip, knuckles white, and knocked. The door swung open, revealing Patricia in a plush, navy blue robe. Leo. Well, this is a surprise. Her smile was a guarded thing. I made some soup, he mumbled, holding out the pot. Grandma's recipe. Thought you might. Patricia's eyes softened as she took the pot. That's very thoughtful, Leo. Come in, come in. I was just about to settle in for an old movie. He followed her inside, the aroma of lemon and something vaguely floral filling the air. The living room was dimly lit, a classic film flickering on a large screen. Casablanca? He asked, surprised. One of my favorites, Patricia said, settling onto a large, comfortable sofa. Care to join me? Sustenance and cinema. The perfect remedy. Leo hesitated, then sat gingerly on the edge of the sofa. I love old movies, he confessed. My grandpa used to make me watch them. For the next hour, they were engrossed in the film, occasionally commenting on the plot or the actors. Leo found himself relaxing, the guilt receding slightly with each shared laugh. As the credits rolled, Patricia sighed contentedly. That was lovely, Leo. Thank you. She shifted her weight, then winced. Still a little tender. Mind if I take a look? Leo asked. He knelt beside her, gently examining her ankle. Just a little swelling. Try this. He guided her through a series of gentle stretches, explaining each movement. Easy does it. Don't push it if it hurts. Patricia followed his instructions, her expression focused. That actually feels better. Leo smiled, relieved. Just keep doing those. And maybe lay off the tennis for a few days. Patricia chuckled. I suppose I can manage that. Tailoring the tunes and training. Leo chewed on the end of his pen, staring at the blank workout plan. Patricia's words echoed in his ears, sustenance, Leo. We need something we can actually sustain. His initial boot camp approach had clearly backfired. Okay, new plan, he announced, clapping his hands together. We ditched the sprints and the burpees for fun. Patricia raised a skeptical eyebrow. Fun, huh? Like what, exactly? Think, dance party meets light cardio, Leo suggested, his eyes gleaming. What kind of music did you all listen to back in the day? We can tailor the workout to your jams. Patricia's face softened. Oh, honey, you're talking Motown, disco, maybe a little early Madonna. The following Tuesday, the community hall throbbed with the beat of Dancing Queen. Leo, initially flustered by the mom's infectious energy, found himself actually enjoying the modified Zumba routine he'd cobbled together. Brenda, who usually looked like she was about to collapse from exhaustion, was actually smiling, her shoulders swaying. This is amazing, Leo, she gasped between lunges, a sheen of sweat on her forehead. I haven't felt this good in ages. And I didn't even bring snacks. Leo beamed, adjusting the volume on the portable speaker. He'd even dimmed the harsh fluorescent lights, creating a surprisingly club-like atmosphere. He noticed Brenda struggling with a particularly wide squat. Gently, he approached her. Easy does it, Brenda. Focus on engaging your core, and don't push yourself too hard. The encouragement, the music, the camaraderie, it was all working. Brenda managed a shaky but triumphant squat, a small cheer escaping her lips. I think, she said, wiping her brow, I might actually make it to Thursday's class. Leo winked, a genuine smile spreading across his face. Maybe, just maybe, he was finally getting the hang of this. Sabotage at the fitness challenge. Leo bounced on the balls of his feet, surveying the park. Banners proclaiming Moms vs. Kids Fitness Challenge flapped in the light breeze. He'd been up since dawn, meticulously arranging the obstacle course, agility ladders, mini hurdles, even a slightly deflated bouncy castle for the grand finale. He envisioned triumphant smiles, healthy competition, and maybe, just maybe, a few more super moms signing up for personal training sessions. A shadow fell across his meticulously placed cones. Brad, the iron-pumping trainer from the rival gym across town, sauntered over, a smirk playing on his lips. Big day, huh, Leo? Hope you remembered the liability waivers. Leo swallowed, a knot forming in his stomach. He had remembered, of course. But Brad's presence felt like a dark cloud. As Brad walked away, he casually nudged one of the cones marking the agility ladder, shifting it just enough to be a tripping hazard. Leo, preoccupied with adjusting the volume on the portable speaker, didn't notice. Patricia Davis, the Supermom's president, arrived, her eyes twinkling. Leo, darling, everything looks vigorous. Remember, sustenance is key. I've brought homemade granola bars. The challenge began with enthusiasm. The kids, fueled by sugary cereal and boundless energy, zipped through the first few obstacles. But the agility ladder proved treacherous. 2 moms tripped, resulting in scraped knees and muttered complaints. Brenda Miller, looking utterly exhausted, handed out miniature Snickers bars. Energy boost, she mumbled, popping one into her own mouth. Then came the tire flips. Brad, subtly deflating several tires beforehand, watched with amusement as the moms struggled, their faces turning red. One tire stubbornly refused to budge, and another rolled haphazardly into the bouncy castle, causing it to list precariously. The bouncy castle finale descended into utter chaos. Kids bounced off course, colliding with bewildered moms. One mom, tangled in the deflated tire, shrieked. Leo, frantically trying to regain control, tripped over a stray jump rope, landing in an undignified heap inside the bouncy castle, right next to a crying toddler and a very angry Patricia Davis. The scene was far from the triumphant victory he'd imagined. Moms versus kids, redemption. Patricia's face was thunderous as she surveyed the scene. The carefully arranged obstacle course, designed to challenge but not overwhelm, was in shambles. Cones lay scattered like fallen soldiers, resistance bands were tangled into a Gordian knot, and the motivational banner Leo had painstakingly hung was ripped in half, proclaiming only "Motivati." "Sabotage," she declared, her voice tight. Brenda sighed, pulling out a bag of mini muffins. "Probably just the kids. They're bored." "Well, we're not letting them win," Patricia said, a glint in her eye. "Let's fix this." Leo, crestfallen, watched as the moms, fueled by indignation and Brenda's muffins, began to salvage what they could. He felt useless, his grand plans reduced to a pile of mangled equipment. "Don't just stand there, Leo," Patricia barked, but her tone was less harsh than before. "Think. We need new challenges, quick." His mind raced. Forget the meticulously planned routine. He had to improvise. "Okay," he stammered, "okay, what about a relay race? But with a twist." He grabbed a jump rope and demonstrated. "Each person has to jump rope while carrying a water balloon on a spoon. First team to finish without dropping their balloon wins." Brenda chuckled. "That actually sounds fun." And it was. The moms, and eventually the kids who sheepishly emerged from their hiding places, were soon caught up in the chaotic fun. Water balloons exploded, laughter filled the air, and even Patricia cracked a smile as she watched Leo slip and slide in a puddle of water, desperately trying to maintain his balance. They modified the other stations too. A beanbag toss became a water balloon toss with slightly less disastrous results. The tangled resistance bands were used for a three-legged race, causing much tripping and giggling. By the end, everyone was drenched, exhausted, and beaming. Leo, covered in mud and water, felt a surge of something he hadn't anticipated, genuine connection. He hadn't just survived, he'd created something real, something messy and imperfect, but undeniably joyful. Patricia clapped him on the shoulder, a rare gesture of approval. "Not bad, Maxwell. Not bad at all." Brenda offered him a muffin, which he gratefully accepted. It tasted like redemption. Smoothies and secrets. The whirring of the blender filled the community center kitchen. Leo, flushed with pride and exertion, poured the bright pink smoothie into paper cups. "Strawberry banana blast for everyone. You all crushed it today." He beamed, handing out the drinks with a flourish that sent a few droplets splattering onto the counter. Brenda, already slumped in a chair, accepted hers with a grateful sigh. "You're a lifesaver, Leo. I swear, I haven't felt this, alive, in years." She took a long sip, closing her eyes. And that's coming from a woman who chased toddlers for a decade. Patricia stood apart from the group, arms crossed, her expression a stormy contrast to the festive atmosphere. She hadn't even touched her smoothie. Leo, noticing her silence, approached cautiously. "Everything okay, Patricia? You were a beast on those burpees." Patricia scoffed, finally taking the smoothie but holding it like a weapon. "Burpees are the least of my worries, Leo." She sighed heavily. "Look, we all signed up for this thing. For one reason. And it wasn't just to lose a few pounds." Leo frowned, confused. "I thought you wanted to get in shape." Patricia's voice cracked. "We wanted to help you get in shape, Leo." She gestured vaguely. "We all saw how you were taking care of your grandma, wheeling her to bingo, bringing her groceries. Mrs. Henderson mentioned you were struggling to make ends meet." Leo's face burned. He hadn't told anyone about his financial woes. We figured a group fitness class would be a good way to give you a little boost. Brenda even rallied everyone to push to get it approved with the HOA. Patricia finally met his eyes, and Leo saw a glimmer of something other than anger, disappointment. "You're a good kid, Leo. And we wanted to show you that good people in this community don't go unnoticed." Brenda chimed in, patting the seat next to her. "Have a cookie, Leo. Patricia's just saying we appreciate you. You've become part of the furniture, in the best way possible." He stared at the half-empty blender, the pink liquid suddenly thick with unspoken meaning. He'd been so focused on proving himself, on mastering the perfect lunge and calorie count, that he'd completely missed the point. It wasn't just about fitness. It was about connection. About community. About love. The thought flickered, surprising him. Maybe, just maybe, best trainer ever. Leo bounced on the balls of his feet, surveying the HOA picnic with a nervous energy he hoped projected as enthusiasm. He'd spent the last 2 days prepping, fun fitness games, guaranteed to be a hit. He'd even bought a bright orange traffic cone set, a splurge, but worth it if it got people moving. So far, most people were moving towards the potato salad. "All right, everyone," he called, clapping his hands a little too loudly. "Let's burn off those burgers with a little fitness fun." A few heads turned, mostly kids lured by the promise of anything that wasn't adult conversation. He launched into an explanation of his first game, cone relays. The moms looked dubious, Brenda Miller especially, who was already halfway through a bag of chips. Miraculously, by some strange alignment of suburban boredom and Leo's unwavering optimism, 3 teams actually formed. The relays were chaotic, hilarious, and involved a lot more tripping over cones than actual running. Even Brenda cracked a smile, offering Leo a handful of chips between heats. Later, as the sun began to dip lower, casting long shadows across the park, Patricia Davis approached him. Her arms were crossed, and her expression was unreadable. Leo braced himself. This was it. The moment she'd tell him his training sessions were a disaster. "Leo," she started, her voice surprisingly gentle. She held out a small, framed certificate. "The ladies wanted me to give you this." He took it, his heart pounding. It read, "Best Trainer Ever, the Mom Squad Appreciation Award." Underneath, a dozen signatures were scrawled. Leo's face flushed. I don't know what to say." Patricia finally smiled, a real, genuine smile that reached her eyes. "You got us moving, Leo. Even Brenda. That's saying something." She gestured towards the watermelon table. "Come on, let's get some watermelon." As they walked, Leo noticed the way her shoulder brushed against his. They reached the table, the air thick with the sweet scent of summer. Patricia selected 2 thick slices, handing one to Leo. Their eyes met over the crimson fruit, a silent understanding passing between them. It wasn't just about fitness anymore. It was something more. As he bit into the juicy watermelon, Leo felt a surge of hope, sweet and unexpected as the summer treat. Maybe, just maybe, he was doing something right after all.